For millennia, nomads have lived on the grasslands of the Tibetan plateau. They are the keepers of Tibet's ancient and unique culture. Rooted in their belief in Buddhism, nomads have lived sustainably on the land and are the guardians of Tibet's fragile environment. At least 2.25 million, a third of all Tibetans, live a nomadic or semi-nomadic life, a way of life that is an intrinsic part of Tibetan society. Following China's occupation of Tibet in 1949, nomads were classified as uncivilized and their lifestyle threatened by the Communist Party's collectivization policies. In 1998, China declared that all herdsmen are expected to end the nomadic way of life by the end of the century. Although China missed its deadline for the year 2000, efforts intensified, and by 2010, 200,000 families, or 1.4 million people, had been settled into ghetto-style housing blocks.
It makes me sad when I can't see any green. Now we are removed into the permanent brick houses. We have lost that way of life forever. We felt very sad.
Resettled nomads have few economic opportunities, and many are forced to sell or slaughter their animals.
When we are forced to slaughter the animals when they are more than the quota, it hurts us. We feel that we are no longer nomads and have become butchers instead.
In the age of climate change, land is seized under a false claim of environmental protection. In reality, many scholars believe nomads' traditional grazing patterns could actually mitigate the impacts of climate change on the plateau. China's policy of closing pasture to grow grasslands is now leading to overgrazing in fenced-in areas, and grassland desertification is increasing. Cleared land is used for rampant mining and dam construction. The Chinese government is attempting to complete a colonial process started 60 years ago, resettlement as a means to control Tibetan nomads and assimilate them into Chinese society. China's party secretary of the Tibet Autonomous Region has publicly acknowledged resettlement is necessary to counteract the Dalai Lama's influence. Tibetan nomads are being denied the right to freely determine their own future, and coercive settlement is causing massive social and economic problems, including unemployment, alcoholism, and suicide. History has shown the tragic consequences to communities and traditional ways of life when people are forced off their lands. Around the world, people have sworn not to let this happen again, yet the policy China is carrying out right now inside Tibet is a death sentence for Tibet's nomadic communities. When a people's very survival is threatened with annihilation, we must act.